right, and welcome back to another episode. And joining me today, Ricky Paquette. How's it going?
Very good. Yourself, Cody?
Doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic.
It's been a great day, and I'm happy to be speaking to you tonight.
Absolutely. I'm glad you were able to make it. So
yeah, man.
For starters, being new to the channel and stuff, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Well, I'm a singer, songwriter, guitar player. I'm actually a dad now. It's been 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Really? Yeah. It's very new to my, the list of things I do.
Congrats.
But yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a fun ride, actually. I'm from, like I said, I'm from Montreal. I've been playing music since I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, playing guitar and with several different bands. And I've been doing my own stuff as a blues project since I was like 13, 14, and then pop and rock and recording and mixing. I enjoy life, and I enjoy music in general. So I do all kinds of things, but I guess we're going to be talking about all of that in the next few minutes.
Absolutely. And
you could direct me, because I could go way out and just talk, man.
Right? It's take it back. You said you started young. How did music come into your life? And then you got signed at a young age, correct? To a record deal?
Yeah, well, it's a long story, but my parents don't play music, so that's not how the whole thing began. But my dad always had a radio in his garage. He didn't like to work on motorcycles and stuff. And I grew up around the garage and, kind of messing around with wood blocks and hammers and wrenches and listening to Shea 106 in Ottawa, the classic rock station. So that's where my kind of like music school began. So, and at one point, one of my dad's friends came over and we had a bit of a party in the backyard, and he just decided to play guitar and sing all night. And I was just like, I had friends in the backyard and I had this guy playing guitar and singing. And then all of a sudden my friends disappeared in my head. And all I saw was this guitar and a guy singing, and it just next morning, man, I asked my parents to just, I said to them, can I learn to play guitar? Can I take guitar lessons? Right. And they kind of laughed, and it started like very quickly. September came along and we just started guitar lessons, and very quickly I became very serious at it because I just found a passion. Somehow it just kind of dawned on me. I've always liked music. My parents were very, very big music fans, but none of them really played music. It wasn't that the way it happened. And they were always very supportive. So that's how it started. And then they started bringing me out at like local jams. There was the Rainbow Bistro in Ottawa that we started going at. It was Tucson's in Ottawa. And being in the Gatineau, Ottawa region, all the local kind of blues and rock places, that my dad kind of knew, just used to bring me along and talk to some people. And then we met friends, and the local music stores, and the community kind of just embraced the whole thing. I mean, as communities do, right? So that's how it actually started. One day, I went up to this Sunday jam at the Rainbow Bistro, and if I recall right, I think Paul Delorier, guitar player that I like, and a friend of mine now, who was playing there, and he and his band were playing there for the jam, and went up for the jam and had a great time. Following week, we got a call. My dad answered the phone. We were having dinner. And it was this guy, Dominic Romanelli, on the phone, said, we'd like to talk to you, sir, because we'd like to talk about, your son and playing music and all that stuff. And he thought it was a joke. Somebody, like one of his friends, was playing a game on him or something. So that went on for a little bit. And then, one thing led to the other. And Uh, and then it led to a record contract with Preservation Music, which was a great ride. That's how it kind of started. They were great people for me, and they really helped me out in the beginning. They really supported me. We went around doing lots of shows. We made a couple records together, and it was a great experience. And that's how it basically started. But it was a hell of a ride.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like traveling around, opening up, you were opening up for artists like Simple Plan, Buddy Guy. Is that correct?
Simple Plan, Buddy Guy, CCR, some other more local acts around the province, Quebec province, Ontario, Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush out in Omaha, Nebraska. I played for the Canadian Army troops out in Afghanistan.
Oh,
so yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a hell of a ride, and it was a great one. And it's just it's funny because I turned 30 this year.
yep.
So I turning 30, being a new dad, having a new record in the middle of a pandemic, kind of scary.
Absolutely.
Kind of scary, but very exciting. And it's a weird thing, but I feel like it's like I don't want to say this way, but I feel like I'm being reborn. It's like, you know what? It's a new era, man. There's something new's about to happen.
Absolutely.
And it's for an artist to live this way, the way I'm living it now, with the experience I've kind of had in the past, have had a break. The whole pandemic thing, very scary, and now having this all exciting new things happening at I mean, I couldn't ask for more, because right now I've got great people around me, exciting new things coming out. I've been inspired, which is more than I can say for a lot of people around me. Artists right now, it's not the for some people it's the best time of their life. Some people it ain't. I can't say so much. I'm very fortunate to be able to say that I'm excited, and I still have that energy inside of me, right? I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's the right time. It's a matter of timing, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be here at this time in my life.
For sure. And touching base on you taking a break, what made you decide to take a break from music?
I didn't really take a break from music. It was actually the pandemic, and I really didn't take a break from music at all. It was more, I took a break from being all over the place all the time, which I really enjoyed. I was touring a lot with several different artists. I mean, I never really been a session guy all that much. I was, playing with maybe 3-4 different acts. Martin Deschamps has been a great friend of mine for many years that I've been writing with and producing some of his records, and been great friends up until now, and he still is. Angel Forrest and Travis Cormier and several other ones. It just, for me, I never really saw myself much as like a studio guy. And for me, taking a break was like, what do I do? Like sitting at home every day.
Right.
So for me, that's a break. I still play guitar every day, still write and record every day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's kind of like a break.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in my car or having to run around or learning new tunes. I just kind of, for me, I was waiting for that break, if you want to say it that way. And maybe I'm ahead of myself in this conversation, but it's kind of like when I say the timing was right, this is part of it. Just because I've been wanting to get back to my own project for so long that I don't know that I probably would have come to this at one point or another. It just, life just decided that, that's it. Got time now. So what are you going to do with that time?
Yep.
And I took it, right? So
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about some of your influences, but I want to know, like, do you have a specific music influence towards just songwriting and then one towards performing?
Oh man, very good question because, well, for starters, I started playing music. And I'm going to say I started playing music because I never wanted to sing.
Right. Okay.
When I started, it was like, I'm never going to sing in my life. But that's not how things started. I wasn't like, oh, I want to sing this song. It was more like, I love guitar. So
Yeah.
I started like, I remember my uncle buying me like Jimi Hendrix Experience, the album, the greatest hits, when I was like 9 or something for Christmas. And then it led on, like I discovered Stevie Ray Vaughan. My sister had bought me the VHS from Live from Austin City Limits. And I wore that thing out, man. That's basically how I learned to play electric guitar. That's when it really hit me like, boom. And then I just, I kind of started growing up. Different influences started like coming in. And discovered Led Zeppelin and the Doors and Jeff Beck and at one point, I think really where it happened when I decided to like turn towards more of the vocal part of things is when my sister brought me to an Aerosmith concert. I was about 14 or 15, I believe, in Ottawa. It was the Honkin' on Bobo tour. And I'll always remember Lenny Kravitz was opening up. We were like really far away. So we decided to like, we saw like seats near the stage. It was, what? There's open seats down there. I thought, let's go. Okay, let's do it. So we walked down there and we found the seats. Finally, anyways, long story short, I winded up like against the stage like this with a bunch of people against me. Steven Tyler screaming in my face, Joe Perry like ripping guitar solos. I even like was touching the bass, Tom Hamilton's bass, while like it was absolutely phenomenal. In my head, it was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
From that point on, it was like, man, these pop songs. I knew Aerosmith before because I liked like Sweet Emotion and the old school. I was more into old school rock back then. But like all of the newer Aerosmith era, and plus like the mix with the blues they had with at that point with the Honkin' on Bobo album, that's really when I saw, man, I could do blues, I could rip guitar solos, and I could sing pop songs that people enjoy singing and like crying and all those kind of tunes. I could put all that in the same package, and then blew my mind. I thought, wow, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it just became this whole new world inside my mind. So the music at that point really took a different step in my head. Is like, I knew I loved it, but at this point it was like a next level thing. And I knew I was never, ever going to leave that feeling alone. Like, I mean, that's never, I'm always going to remember that feeling. And that's really what helped me carry on like throughout the years, whenever there's highs and lows, whenever I think about songwriting, whenever I think about like who my crowd is. I mean, it could be guitar lovers, singers, songwriters. So from that point on is like, you know what, I'm trying to mix all those things. So it's very hard for me to answer that question with very few words, because even though I guess I'm consider myself young still at 30, but there's several eras in my head of myself that I have.
Yeah.
There's the point where I even, I go, oh man, I used to listen to that stuff and I still understand why I did. But so songwriting for me is a very different thing, and performing is a very different thing. When I think about guitar, it's different thing. So for me, the culmination of all those things really lives into that. If I could just sum it all up in one band, it would be Aerosmith.
Okay.
But man, I love listening to pop. I love listening to like Sia, Camila Cabello. I love listening to like, you'd see my playlists, man. I like it. It'd be very, you'd be laughing.
You'd be like confused, like what's going on? No, I was kidding.
Like, what's going on? What's this? Who's been at your place? Who put this in your list?
Yeah,
I did.
That was me.
And I also like to record and produce and mix and stuff. So every day I try and find something new that I like for different reasons. Like the reason why I like some of the newer pop stuff, like Lady Gaga or all those kinds of things. I would have never listened to that stuff when I was 15 or 20. Or it happened like later, like in the past, maybe 6-7 years, maybe.
Okay.
When I met my girlfriend, she likes all that stuff, and like driving down the road in the car, man, sounded so good and so big and stuff. And I was working on some mixes and stuff, and I was playing back some of the stuff I was working on. Man, I got to get my stuff. Like, I don't matter what kind of music I'm making, but it's got to have that impact on everybody. And I like that. I like that punch. And so that's how I got into that world of things. So my brain is very eclectic. It's divided in several little folders.
Yep, that's fair. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like, it gets a little confusing, but hey, man, you're making all sorts of exciting things out there, man.
Absolutely. All right. Let's talk about this new single you have out, Just Along for the Ride. Tell us a little bit about it and how it all came together.
Well, as I said, I just think it sums up Just Along for the Ride. It's a saying that's not completely who I am, but I like to just jump on the bandwagon and just kind of go for it, right? It's a feel-good tune. I think it's a song that's very relevant in the time that where we're living right now. We need a bit of that fun and just kind of like take a little breather and just take a sip of that IPA beer and go on the barbecue and crank up the tunes and have a good time. And I think that's a great song for that. I think it also has a particular sound that represents all my influences, that my deep inner core influences. Like, it's got 12-string guitars on there. It's got Telecasters. It's got a bit of that old Faces and Rod Stewart feel to it. It's got a pretty big, like, somewhat stadium kind of chant to it. A bit of country, a bit of rock, foot stomping stuff.
Yep.
And it's a song I wrote with Gordy Johnson from Big Sugar. It had that melody and that kind of riff in my phone for a while, a couple of years actually. And when it came the time for us to decide we were making this record together, Gordy and I, it just felt like when I sent him this demo I had on my phone, he got it right away. As for many other things we wrote together, I just felt like he got the essence of who I was as an artist. And that's one thing that I think was very enjoyable for me. Like, we had a great time talking. We had a great time talking about like influences and our youth. We don't have the same age at all, but talking about old music, guitars and stuff. Every time we get on FaceTime and talk about writing or recording, it was just a great time. And I think that we could really hear that on the recording. If we want to talk about the record a little bit, we did this record remotely. On we did it on, we both have our studios. Mine is in Joliet near Montreal, and his is in Austin, Texas. And the plan was to record it together.
Yep.
The pandemic decided otherwise.
Something with a van or something like that?
Pardon me?
Did you do something with a van?
Yeah, well, in the beginning, actually late 2019, basically got rid of everything and decided that I was going to move to Nashville with not a van, but I bought an RV, 35-footer RV.
Right.
And I brought all my studio gear and some of my guitars and stuff, and moved down there and just to explore. I mean, I didn't know it was basically a glorified vacation.
Yeah.
And I just decided, it's like, let's just see what happens. I had, as I said, I'd been playing with several other artists, recording and writing, and I just needed that kind of break.
Yes.
Which wasn't completely a vacation, but for me, it's my kind of vacation.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and just take time for myself, basically that's what that meant for me. So I went down there and met a couple of friends that have been there for a while, including Trevor Finley, who's a great friend of mine, who was very helpful in meeting great people down there. He had been there. He's an Ottawa guy too, Trevor Finley. And I met him when I was very young, and I'd been talking about going down south, and I just felt like there was a buzz down there, and I wanted to see what it was all about. So we'd been talking, exchanging, different ideas, and he said, "Why don't you just come and see what it's all about? That way you'll know, right?"
Yeah.
So a year after we started that conversation, I decided to basically sell everything and just
go
try it out for a winter, because I don't really like winter. So I felt like, how bad can it be? Playing music every day, writing, just having fun and meeting new people for a winter. See how that goes. So that's how it started. But I quickly realized that I had to come back once the pandemic hit in March. So I'd only been there for like 3 months. But it was a great experience, and I'm looking forward to go back down there, because I miss some of my friends that I made while I was down there. And I just think it was like, as a great time. I think I needed that. I don't think anybody needed the pandemic, but I think it was something that there's some good stuff that came out of it for myself, and probably other people too. It's unfortunate because some of the people I met down there, I haven't really been keeping in contact as much as I wanted, as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
But man, what a great time.
Absolutely.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
I've never been. I've been doing like all this video work and interviews with country artists and stuff like that. And it's like, everyone's Nashville, Nashville, Nashville. And I'm like, man, I need to go to this place.
Well, there's several other places that you'd probably find pretty cool. I mean, I love the United States for several reasons, especially like some of the music stuff. But Nashville is definitely a place that you want to visit if ever you go, because it's, I don't know that I mean, I've never, some places I haven't been that I think are pretty cool and people have told me are pretty cool, but I've been many places around the world, but I've never seen any place like Nashville. One place I wish I'd be able to, compare, and people have been telling me is kind of similar it's just different, but it's kind of similar. It's got that same kind of like zing to it. Is Austin.
I've heard that.
Which is probably my next step, my next place, my next destination. But man, Nashville is definitely, I was there. I tell you.
Yeah.
Pretty darn cool.
I keep hearing, I like the story, like how you took the van and went and did your thing, kind of just sold everything.
Well, it started different. I mean, that's not exactly how it, in my head, I was planning to do it, but I figured if I was going to do this kind of like trip and be somewhat on a vacation and need to move and like kind of go with the flow.
Yep.
Basically, the best thing to do is just to be able to just turn the key and kind of go where the wind blows, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it decided the wind just decided to like turn around, bring me back home. But but I guess that's what needed to happen, man.
Yeah, no, it's I didn't go get a van, but I did something similar. I kind of just saved a bunch of money and went to LA and did the whole thing when I was like 20. And I think I was there 5 months, 6 months. And I mean, nothing really came of it, but I don't regret it at all. It was more of the life experience that I took from it, right?
Yeah.
So no,
And the sun. Where was your favorite place?
in LA.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a few.
Was
Um,
you?
there's a few. I really enjoyed Santa Monica, and
Okay.
and of course Malibu. Malibu's like that. It's little Richie over there, obviously, but it's a little more quiet. I lived in like the Woodland Hills area.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Hollywood. You go there, you do your thing. It's too busy for me though. It's like I'm good. I'm gonna go over here, kind of thing, right? Um,
Yeah.
um, there's another place I went to my cousin's wedding. I'm trying to think of the area. I think it started with a B, but yeah, those places were gorgeous.
I really like the weather, man. Like
Yes,
I go to the NAM show. I don't know if you're aware, like if you know the NAM show with
I've heard of
big
them. Sure, yeah.
and it was always a great time and great parties and like a lot of musicians are there and they're like off because it's January, so they're not really touring and stuff, and everybody's there, right? So and I love going to the Rainbow and Whiskey a Go Go and stuff. I mean, they're classic places
Right.
that are, all my 60s like dream bands. That's basically how it, the Doors and Janis and Jimi Hendrix and stuff. Like so much history down there.
Is it Whiskey Go Go? That's on Sunset, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
nothing better than having got slice of pizza, man.
Yep.
Had the Rainbow and a whiskey, and then you go to the Whiskey a Go Go and you hear like great bands and
Yep.
things just happen there. You don't know what's going to happen, but I was pretty fortunate to have some friends like walk me around some of the really historical places.
Yep.
But you don't even need that. You just go down there and with no real like expectations, and you just breathe in the air, and you just like, you know what? This is it. That's the place, man. Stuff happened here. Eating your pizza, listen to the music on the radio, and you never know. Like Lemmy used to just be at the Rainbow all the time,
Yeah.
playing his poker machine.
Yep.
And like last time I was there, a little funny story. It struck me because on my first single I put out for this Ricky Paquette solo project, when I started just before the pandemic hit, I put out a single called Hello. First song I wrote when I moved to Nashville with Trevor and Steve Mitchell, who Trevor introduced me to, a great person, great songwriter, that Canadian, by the way, but he lived down there. I got Kenny Aronoff, drummer, to play on the song, and I met him in Switzerland on tour with Angel Forest.
Wow.
Had a great time down there, and I was at the Rainbow eating a slice of pizza, and he walks in, just sitting down there. Legend, man. The guy played with absolutely everybody from like John Mellencamp to Bruce Springsteen to like, I mean, the list goes on. I'm telling you, if you don't know this guy, you've probably seen him. Like no hair, the black sunglasses. He's been like on every TV show. He's the guy.
He's the guy.
And I saw him there. I said, man, so good to see you here. He was playing with Billy Gibbons when we opened up for Billy Gibbons out in Switzerland at Seattle Blues Festival, if I remember correctly. We had a great time. I said, oh yeah, you were playing with that Angel girl, right? So he remembered, and he was playing at this thing at the the Whiskey a Go Go that same night. So yeah, great. Next morning, he texted me on Messenger saying, "Oh, it was great to see you, Ricky, at the Rainbow last night." And it's like, where's that happen? I mean, I don't know of any other place in the world. It's like LA, man.
Yeah.
And it was a great time. But I mean, that's LA for you. That's Hollywood. That whole thing. It's a big blur. You never know what's going to happen. It's very mysterious. It's like Misty Mountain Hop. You just walk through there and you come out and it's like a big dream.
It's true. And don't get me wrong, it has its moments
Yeah.
where you have
Yeah.
influencers who are like their own clique, and you got this, it's Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a particular place.
Yes, it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
All right, man. Your album that you're gonna be releasing and stuff, 9-track album.
Yeah.
When can we expect it?
It's coming out November 5th.
Okay.
And I can't wait. There's going to be a couple tunes released in October.
Yeah.
We've got the first single that's out right now.
Yes.
And we've got a music video coming out for the release of the album.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I like to say this because it's a particular thing for people that play the kind of music that I do. It's kind of like a live band thing, right? So if I may ask people to help us out with like adding us on Spotify and playlists and all that stuff, because right now I wish I could tell you, man, we're coming out with this record in November, we got this tour lined up, which would have been the way we would have done it. We don't really know how that's going to pan out, but we're still going forward, and we're still putting out music for all the fans and for the music lovers out there, because people still like music. It's just hard for us to get to those people. And I wish that we could connect like closer to them. And I'm really working hard at that. So if you want to stay tuned, November 5th is going to be the date. And then we're going to be working really hard to stay connected for the upcoming like news, because it's a great album. I'm super proud of all the work we did. I think the 9 songs they're very different from each other, but I think it makes up for a great live set, which is where I keep saying it, which I think is where the band shines. I think it's where we can really like live music together, especially in this style of music. So, make sure you crank it up, because it's a pretty rocking album.
Perfect.
It's got some twang. It's got some pretty funny lyrics. There's a couple of tunes on there that's got some funny twists. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's a fun album. I mean, there's a couple of more serious tunes, but there's some beer drinking music on there.
Perfect. Can you say names? What's your favorite song on the album?
Depends on the day, but the album is called Sparks.
Yep.
Which is a song that I wrote with Rennie Ray, a friend of mine, and Gordy Johnson, and it talks about basically a new beginning of a guy who's ready to like go ahead and build a family and stuff. And that song was written about 6 months before my girlfriend got pregnant. So it was kind of like life decided that that's where things were going to go. It was a bit of an not unexpected surprise, but a very good one. And turned out to be like a song on the album. That's how the album starts. So it's like Sparks, man. It's strong. It's got energy, and it's like, let's do this kind of thing. There's a couple of other tunes, and the second song, See You Again. We got Be Who You Be is a song that was inspired from me kind of having a walk on Venice Beach.
Yeah. There's
a song, it's called Feel So Real. That's really inspired about it's inspired a couple of different incidents in my life inspired this song from, but it's basically it's a guy that's saying, when it starts to feel so real, don't forget that I'll still be around. It could be like a love song or a friendship, but it's not necessarily about suicide, but it's about a person talking to another, like, don't be a stranger. Like, we're all here to help each other out, right? There's another funny song, a bit of a novelty song on there that Gordy and I, one night we were late night FaceTiming writing, and I told him about a story that had happened with one of my friends, roadie friend of mine, Flitin. Daniel. I had moved out to the country, and we had this Kubota. And anyways, the story is pretty funny, but it's the song is called "Drinking Beer and Driving Around."
Hey.
So there's that kind of thing on there. There's a song that's called "Caught Rocking Hard in the Place."
Okay.
There's "Sacrifice Fly," which was kind of like it's a kind of baseball thing, but it's not, doesn't really talk about baseball that much. Baseball references about new beginnings. It was like, cheap shot. Okay, let's start over. Let's do things different way, right? So anyways, that's one of them. So yeah, there's different subjects all on there, but fun stuff. I really thought about it as a live set. I think the album is a thing that you could just press play and have a great time. In my head, what I wanted to create was like a live kind of album, which is pretty funny because, well, I'm not afraid to say this because in this day and age, we all know things are made a little differently, but none of this was played live in the sense that I played live a lot of the stuff, singing and playing guitar, but this is done remotely with Gordy in Texas and me near Montreal. But I just feel like it sounds like a band playing because that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I want to go out and do. But in my head, it's like I want this record to be heard in a great barbecue setting with sun.
Yes.
A barbecue, IPAs.
Yep.
Like, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30. Music cranked up. That like magic hour, not just about the sun, but just like the magic moment that happens in the day when Saturday night, man, and the feeling is great. People are there, not too late, not too early. It's just
the perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm talking about. I can see it in your face.
I know. I
you want to be there, man.
I really want to hear it now, kind of thing, right? So cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Last thing, tell everyone where they can find you on social media so they can go get this album.
Oh man, well, it's not very complicated. My name is Ricky Paquette. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And album's coming out November 5th, and I can't wait to share it with everybody because it's been a long time coming. And I hope that everybody is going to be along for the ride because it's going to be the thing that's going to spark it up. And it's going to be a good one.
Perfect.
Let's make this, let's turn this spark into a big fire, man.
Love it. All right, guys, go grab his newest single, Just Along for the Ride, and make sure you go grab his album when it comes out. And Ricky, thanks, man. This was
Codi, man. My pleasure. I appreciate the time spent with you, man. And it's been a good one. Good conversation, man.
Yeah, man. Let's stay in touch. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. All right, take care.
Thanks to you, man.